with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Pennant Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB though. That's why Grealish & Co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and the former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant with you until 1 a.m. Jammer, how are you?
I'm fantastic, sir.
You're looking splendid.
Toasty, aren't I?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm toast.
You look like a different man, Jammer.
Golden brown.
Yeah, looking fresh. You've holidayed well, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. Cyprus. Yeah. Just got back, but it feels like I'm still there. It's like hot as over.
Yeah, I know. No, sticky, isn't it, at the moment? Sticky.
Wow.
Newcastle fans, look, you've had 12 hours or so to digest the news. Eddie Howe, we know, set to leave the football club. But come join the Sports Bar this Thursday night. Let us know how you're feeling. Are you worried going into next season? You know, after a day, Jammer, of maybe feeling emotional, feeling angry, feeling sad. Come join the Sports Bar and get everything off your chest. We've got some Rise Back pages, the best of talkSPORT, Who Am I? Toby Gillis brings us the latest from the massive story. The European football's 55 member associations have voted to boycott World Cups if the sport's governing body proceeds with that plan to sell stakes in competitions to private investors. Thursdays are the new Fridays. Come join the Sports Bar this evening on 03717 22 33 44. How's your Thursday been, Jermaine?
Chilled. Gym this afternoon, got back and then I was shattered. And I was like,
what did you do in the gym?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Well, today it was pool day.
So you basically went to the pool?
No, not swimming pool. Pull, as in like.
Oh, a pull.
Yeah,
pool
day.
So you made
so pool day is like,
right.
so you like back, so you're pulling down like, back stuff.
Yeah. For those watching on YouTube, you're literally doing your own sort of mini gym session here. If you don't know what the gym looks like, Jermaine's doing
back, so you pull into your stiff back.
Yeah.
Rail delts where you pull outwards. So it's like a the chest press fly one. Where you,
I don't gym.
Where you squeeze in. So basically the rear delts is the back, so you pull out opposite way. Like if you're looking on YouTube.
Yeah, this is good content, mate.
And then I finished off with biceps.
Okay. How long does the session last?
A good session should last around, I reckon, an hour to an hour and a half.
Really, hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
That's a long time, though. Oh, that sounds stressful. Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy going? Or is it one of those
do you know what? It's good. It's good for the head. It is good. When you go, it is good. But there's times you're sitting on there on a machine and you're thinking, why?
Why am I here? What's the point?
What am I doing this for? Because it's not like it's a nice sort of pleasure. It's hard. It hurts.
Yeah. You can feel the pain.
Yeah, and you're burning.
Yeah.
Your muscles are talking to you, saying, "Stop."
Looking good though, mate. It's paying off, isn't it? I mean, you're looking.
Yeah, I'm looking for a
healthy, mate,
contract
at the moment, right? What contract do you want?
I can see some teams are struggling, so
Oh, really?
getting fit.
How old are you?
Do you know what? Right, someone said to me, "How old are you the other day?" And
You didn't know.
I lied, but I didn't mean to.
Oh.
I actually thought I was.
You're not that old where you can't remember how old.
No, sincerely, I think I said I was 41.
Yeah.
I'm 43.
You're 43.
I genuinely thought I was 41
Genuine
because I
question.
missed 2 birthdays.
Because you go gym and you play some charity games,
Yeah.
and, you do a lot of coaching and stuff like that abroad. If a National League team called you and said, "Jammer, we're really short. Come play for us every Saturday," do you reckon you could do it?
It depends on what position.
Right wing. And
No.
you haven't got a track back. How about that?
No, not right wing.
What could-
I would 43. I could say, listen, right back.
Right back. But you're not overlapping.
I'm not overlapping.
You're Gary Neville. You're going to just sit at right back and you're not going to move. And that's not criticism, by the way. Gary Neville was a good right back,
He was, but I think I'll have more depth than Gary Neville.
In terms of being able to
In terms of going forward.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Delivery,
Yeah.
passing.
Whipping.
Absolutely.
So
I'd be on free kicks.
Yeah. You'd be on free
I'd
kicks.
be on free kicks.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, there we go. Any National League clubs, or if you fancy it, Jermaine Pennant, he gyms.
Fit.
He looks fresh. Can you still ping?
Can I what?
Can you still ping?
Yeah.
45 yards across
Like,
field?
do you know, as soon as you have like a little pre-season, as soon as you get having the ball again, like most sports, when you play on a regular basis, you get comfortable.
You never lose it.
Yeah. So if I was like, every day training with a ball, oh yeah.
Do you miss playing or not?
Not really.
You don't. Not too far retired now that you don't. Yeah.
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 Gone.
You've moved on from that, haven't you?
Changing rooms, that's what I miss.
The banter.
Banter.
The banter. What was the best change room you played in?
Oh.
The Stoke team, Tony Pulis?
No. The best changing room was at Portsmouth. It's because
Where were you at Portsmouth?
I was on loan.
How old are you? Young.
2009, I think it was. It was like towards the end of my Liverpool.
Oh, so post Liverpool.
Yeah,
You went from Liverpool to Portsmouth on loan. All right.
When I was at Liverpool, when I learned in January. But that team was just full of characters.
Yeah.
There was me, Glenn Johnson, Peter Crouch, Sean Davis.
O'Hara was there then?
No. So there was like a bunch of us, and we called ourselves the A team.
Original.
Yeah. We used to just have random Tuesday, we'd go out or something, or whenever it was, we'd go around one of the boys' house, play cards, or one day we said, right, it's random Tuesday. We're going to meet up in this local. One of the boys, like in Cobham, I think it was Crouches actually, so we're going to the local, and we all had to go fancy dress.
Oh, okay.
For no particular reason.
Because why
It's
not?
just-
It's good fun, right? You got nothing else to do on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly that.
Training's done at midday. Well, I mean, going through the team, there looks like, it's Pennant, Defoe, Crouch, Carnu.
Yeah, he
Was
was
Carnu getting involved in the fancy dress, or
Absolutely
did he give
not.
it a miss?
No, it was somebody like that. It was the English boys, wasn't it?
Nico Granier.
Yeah, Nico was there. So it was just
So you played with Richard Hughes there as well, who's now the sporting director of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Could you not get on the blower to
Do you
Richard
know
Hughes
what?
and get all the inside information?
I got along well with him as well when he was at Portsmouth. Yeah.
Did you always know that he was going to go on one day and be
Absolutely not.
responsible for the day-to-day running of one of the biggest
Absolutely
football clubs
not.
in world football?
If I did, I would have told him that back then. Listen, don't be ruining my club.
Yeah. Please, can we stop just having Cody Gakpo on the left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot and getting absolutely nowhere, please, Richard?
Yeah, but apart from that, all good.
Jermaine, there's two big football stories today. Obviously, the latest with FIFA and Gianni Infantino's plans to sell part of the World Cup. Toby Gillis is joining us very, very shortly to bring us the latest on that. But it sort of took me by surprise this morning. I was out for a coffee this morning, and the news broke that Eddie Howe is set to leave Newcastle United Football Club. How have you kind of processed the news today? I mean, how do you kind of feel about what we learned sort of early this morning, mate?
Listen, I think he had to, really. I think
Why?
He's not. He's walked up because they're such a big club. They've got so much money behind them, but they can't use it. And he's earned his stripes now. He's been at Bournemouth for years, and now he's at Newcastle, won trophies. He wants to be amongst the top managers. He wants to win things. He wants to bring silverware to his club. And he's now managing a team with one hand behind his back. He can't go out and spend the money. He can't get in big players. He's going in for players. They're all saying, nah, I'm okay. I'm going to go somewhere else. Everyone's poaching. So, and they're selling. They have to sell their best players to be able to go, even though they're probably the richest club in the league. So you can understand how frustrating and difficult that must be for him to try and manage a team, but with so many hurdles. And it comes a point where I can't work with this, and walking away from it. I'm sure in the back of the mind as well, England is probably playing on his mind.
But that's the long way, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
it's probably 2 years, isn't it?
Is that a long way now? Is that now the FA going, well, now our ban is ready? Eddie Howe is available.
Yeah,
Are we going to stick with Tuchel?
Yeah.
So don't be.
Look, I think there's a very good chance that Eddie Howe is going to be the next England manager, but I also think I'm almost certain that Thomas Tuchel is going to take England to the European Championship.
Did he do good enough to earn that spot, Tuchel?
Well, based on that second half performance against Argentina, absolutely not. It was probably a sackable offence. But I think if the FA were going to make a decision, they would have made it by now. The point you make about Eddie Howe, I agree with. I think we shouldn't forget, even though last season was underwhelming, he did a ridiculous job at Newcastle. He took over a team that were in the relegation zone. And in the space of a couple of years, he had Champions League football in 2 out of 3 seasons. He ended a 70-year trophy drought to win a trophy. And sure, money was able to be spent. We shouldn't go on like they had absolutely no money to spend. They did spend money. But I also take your point, being the richest club in the world, they obviously weren't allowed just to go and buy all of the best players in the world. It's not that simple. But I think the job he's done there is unbelievable. I thought towards the back end of last season, the way it kind of tailed out, maybe some of the fans were starting to question Eddie Howe and whether he was the right man to take them forward. I thought it would have been a natural time to say, you know what, I've done an unbelievable job here. It's time for me to move on. And also maybe it's not a bad time for the football club to see what's next for them. The timing feels a little bit strange, the fact we're only a couple of weeks away from the start of the new season. But I think Eddie Howe there has done a near-on perfect job with the resources he's got available to him, showing once again what a top-class coach he is. And I think he's got the absolute maximum out of those group of players. It must be soul-destroying being a manager when you sort of go into pre-season training. Anthony Gordon, not there. Sandro Tonali, not there. Bruno Guimaraes, more than likely not to be there. And I just think Eddie Howe maybe was drained and maybe thought, I've done everything. It's time for a new chapter.
Potentially in 2 seasons, they lost 4 of their best players. How, and not replaced it. How do each season, each transfer window goes, they're not bringing in the top talent because of the struggle. And when they do find them, someone comes in and poaches them. So for Eddie Howe, you can really understand why it's like, I've just had enough. This can't continue. Last season, the best striker, who's been magnificent for them, left. Couldn't really replace him. I think the Voltemada and Wissa was literally a stopgap, but it didn't work out. So he wants to go on and challenge. And if the way Newcastle's being run at the minute, nothing down saying just by the rules, it's very, very, very difficult.
Newcastle fans, the floor is yours for the first hour of this show. If you want to get involved in the sports bar this evening, the number to call is 03717 223344. Dylan is a Newcastle fan and has phoned that number. Dylan, you're live on talkSPORT, mate. How are you?
How are we, lads? I'm good, to be fair. Yeah. Really good. I think, Eddie Howe is a top manager, one of the best in the league. And I'm not just saying that because, an English manager has never won the Premier League. That gets thrown around a lot, like, an Englishman's never won the Premier League. I'm sorry, but if, say, for whatever reason, Arteta wasn't managing Arsenal next season and you put Eddie Howe managing Arsenal or even Man City, or even Man United, you could, he would win the league and he would win it with style. And he plays attacking football. And these Newcastle fans that I've heard a lot, the ones with a brain know that, or gutted with this, but
sure.
There's a lot of Newcastle fans who are happy about this, right? And to me, in a previous call on a different show said that they're the post takeover fans, and I totally agree with that because the joy that not only we won the League Cup. Obviously, that was the best day of our lives as Newcastle fans. But there's other results, they say winning trophies is everything in football, and it is fundamentally. But it comes down to winning trophies. But there's certain games that you'll never forget for different reasons. I remember we played Spurs at St James's Park, right? And I think we've got the record in 20 minutes.
5 up, weren't you, right?
Yeah, we won 6-1. We scored 5 goals in 20 minutes, and that was Eddie Howe. And then people also forget we went to Bramall Lane in the Premier League. And
I remember that.
8-0. We beat them 8-0. Eddie Howe plays attacking. And to be honest with you, it's a real shame that he doesn't get like a goodbye, Guardiola and Klopp do, because that's how what he's done for Newcastle. He brought the good times back Newcastle. He saved us from relegation, and he's for me, he's been one of the best Newcastle managers ever. And he's lost all these top players, and that's why he's left. And he hasn't made any money from leaving as well. He hasn't, managers get sacked and they still profit, but he's just left. He's always says, if it's not going my way, and I don't blame him for that.
I think it's a really, really good call, mate. And by the way, I echo all of your thoughts about how high you rate Eddie Howe as the manager. People also forget the unbelievable job he did at Bournemouth, taking them from the Football League, right at the bottom of the Football League, up to the Premier League. They had a couple of seasons of mid-table football in the Premier League. And again, just looking at the work he's done at Newcastle, 2 seasons out of 3 in the Champions League, winning that trophy. I agree with you, and I think he's a top coach. I don't want to go negative Dylan on a Thursday night, but look, obviously Eddie Howe's left. Some of your best players have left. Are you a little bit worried, a little bit fearful going into next season, mate?
Well, to be honest with you, I do mean to disrespect Rangers and Celtic, but the kind of manager that we've got, it kind of feels like something like the Scottish Premier League. They seem to get these managers from mad leagues, and it's either do really well or they stink the place out. And a lot of Newcastle, he's a young German coach, but what does that mean? Eddie Howe's a young manager for managers' terms, to be honest with you, I can't really see anyone at the minute who I could think, who could come in. To be honest with you, that's how I feel about it. So yeah, I am worried about next season. But hopefully, for Kevin Keegan's sake and stuff like that, we might have a good season,
Let's hope so. Dylan, let's hope so. Dylan, thank you very much for the call, mate. Enjoy your evening and have a good weekend. Newcastle fans, football fans, 03717 223344 is the number to call to get involved in the Sports Bar this evening. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bear. You can download the app today for all the latest odds and offers. It's 18 plus. Gamble aware the dog.
Up and said you got 10 players better than John Stones.
No, but I said all time. I didn't say Prem, but let's stick to Prem. All right, let's do this.
Go on.
Virgil van Dijk, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, that's 5.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we going Tony Adams?
Oh yeah.
No,
you're not gonna say.
No, but go on.
I would.
Campbell.
I'd do Sol Campbell, defo.
And I'm a Tottenham
Sol
fan.
Campbell, come on, JB.
Keep going.
I'm going Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh. Gary Pallister.
Carvalho.
Mate, come on.
Carvalho.
Don't help him. Why are you helping him? Carvalho's not better than John Stones.
Carvalho. Ricardo Carvalho.
Jamie, hear me out.
Give me a break, man.
On his day, prime to prime, 1 game for a final, Ledley King.
Yeah, Ledley King. What, you telling me Ledley King? Oh, come on, Jamie.
Listen, Jamie, not the career, but for 1 game in his prime.
I watched John Stones playing the Champions League final.
I know he was unbelievable.
He was unbelievable. So let's.
I hear it, but
come on.
I think, I heard.
Can't we put Ledley King above John Stones? He's won 6 Premier League titles.
Phil Jagielka, mate. Phil Jagielka.
Holy shut up, mate. Come on.
I mean, mate, Jamie.
Jolyon Lescott.
I would go as far as to say.
A very good evening. You are listening to the Sports Bar. We are on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and the former Liverpool winger, the Champions League finalist with Liverpool. He maybe even got man of the match in that final, Jermaine Pennant. I bet I'm the only presenter that introduces you like that, right? That's a sign of respect, mate, by the way. That's how much I respect you.
All right, he will go, yeah, Billericay.
Bang out of order.
Punice City, Tampines Rovers, he calls out.
Oh, that's actually probably more sports bar-esque, isn't it? Maybe when I introduce you on Inside Liverpool, I'm quite professional. But maybe sports bar, I need to go more into that.
You do? No, do you know what? I like this side.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it.
It's facts, though, isn't it, right? You did get man of the match.
Sam. You be Sam. You be you, pal.
You got to, right?
Ignore Jamie, ignore Candy.
No. How was your holiday, by the way? Have a nice you went to Greece, didn't you?
Cyprus.
Cyprus, mate. Sorry.
It's a bit of training with the kids.
Monday
to Friday.
Oh, so you're out there working?
I was out there training the youngsters Monday to Friday.
How old?
2 groups. So the morning group would have been anything up to 10, and then after that it was 11s to teens, like 16s.
And what, you doing it by yourself? You got people with?
No, there'll be another 2 others, and I'll be obviously taking sessions as well.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They know who you are?
Yeah.
There's
a few Liverpool fans.
Oh, okay. Then obviously,
a few Man United fans, and I boo them off.
Yeah. They know.
Special treatment to some other kids.
Any of the boys you think have got a decent little chance?
Yeah, there's a few.
Not
kids.
quite to that level.
No. There's a few young ones and a few of older ones. One of them plays for Juventus, like academy.
All right, must be
and there's some girls as well. One plays for Chelsea. So yeah, it was good.
So it's what, training in the morning, and
training in the morning, and training in the afternoon,
and then with the missus in the evening,
and then I'm dying as soon as I could get in the pool.
All right, soak off in the pool, and then we're happy. Bit of dinner,
beach.
The missus come with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you a beach or pool kind of guy?
Both.
But would you prefer that? That's a big one.
Beach.
You prefer the beach?
Yeah.
Really? I don't like the sand, mate.
Huh?
I don't like the sand.
What do you mean you don't like the sand?
I don't like sands.
What is it? What don't you like about it?
I just don't find it particularly comfortable. Like, I think if I'm by the pool on a sun lounger, I'm comfy, I'm in the zone. Whereas at the beach, I just think sand gets everywhere, doesn't it?
I don't just like go to... No, it's more of a beach club, like, sofa beds kind of vibe.
Right.
I'm not, sitting right next to the waves.
No, okay.
I'm in a proper setting.
Oh, yeah, proper, isn't it? Yeah. You'd have nothing less, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Nothing less.
You know the score, Samuel.
Tell you, we did some good tan.
Good tan, isn't it?
Solid tan, isn't it?
Good. Hey, listen, on YouTube, can we
goodness me. He's literally... All right, good. I mean, that's... Oh. Yeah, all right, we get it.
Look at that tan, Jesus.
I mean, for those listening, old school radio, Jermaine has literally got up, lifted his T-shirt up, pulled down a tiny part of his trousers just to show us that you're very, very tanned.
Tanned.
All right.
Golden brown, looking fresh. Let's get back to the phone line, shall we? Eddie Howe set to leave his position as Newcastle head coach with Matthias Jaissel poised to replace him. Howe decided to remain at St James's Park at the end of last season, but has since had a change of heart, going to depart in the coming days after 5 years in charge. Of course, he led Newcastle to their first trophy in 70 years with the Carabao Cup in 2025. He's told the club he wants to take a break from football. Gary, the Newcastle fan, has called 03717 223344. Gary, good evening, mate. How are you?
Evening, lads. How we doing?
Yeah, good, mate. How's your day been?
All right, to be fair. I'm still at work. I've been on a call out, so I'm just on my way home now.
What do you do?
I'm an electrician.
Oh, all right. Do you know what, Gary? If I wasn't going to do this, my dad said to me, go to college, go and learn how to be an electrician. 2 years, learn how to do it. You'll never be out of work. You'll always be busy, and you'll earn a decent living.
Well, he's half right. The decent living bit's not quite true.
Oh, fair enough.
My point is, I'm probably in the minority here with the Eddie Howe thing. I'm 46-year-old, so I've seen the ups and downs of Newcastle United through my life. He's going to be going down as a legend for what he's done. He's brought silverware, he's galvanised the city. The team that we had was fantastic, but you have to move on. Times change. You get offered big money for players who last season weren't playing and didn't try a hit with half of them. Gordon's ratio return was decent, but take his pens away wasn't great. Tonali hasn't played all season, he was awful. Bruno, yeah, he's the exception, but if you're going to get 80, 100 million pounds for footballers, you can't say no. And for me, you reinvested in a club, and if Eddie didn't want to be part of that and he felt like his hands were tied and it was all getting done above his head,
Do you think he got maybe a bit stale as well, Gary, towards the end, Eddie Howe? Maybe in terms of tactics, maybe in terms of being a little bit too reliable to some of his players?
It just stagnated. The whole thing had stagnated. It was the same system against whoever you were playing against, whether it be home or away. It was the same substitutes at the same time of every single game. We knew what was coming. You'd go 1-0 up and then you'd think, Christ, we're going to get beat 2-1, and it happened. And we could see that, but he didn't change. And I think the hierarchy might have got a little bit annoyed with him, a little bit sick with him, and Ross Wilson came out and demanded that we'd win the next 6 games and we should get the Conference League, and it never happened. But it was never going to happen. We were awful from pretty much all season, bar a handful of games. The Sunderland games weren't great, and if you can't get up for a derby, then I struggle to see where you go from there, you know. Yeah,
there's some bad results, but if you've got to look at the hierarchy, have they not got to take some of the blame for sure? Because Howe is working with what he's got. You know, the substitutions, you can't bring on just any old kid in the Premier League in big matches. You know, half of the players were young. Some of them weren't at the Premier League experience, and the ones that did, that's who we had to bring on. The transfer market, the recruitment, I know they're stricken by the rules, but the recruitment has been poor. Yeah, they got a lot of money for Isak, but really didn't invest it well. Every player, like I've touched on, you seem to be wanting to get, you don't get. There's another team comes in last minute and does a deal. That's not down to the manager. That's down to the recruitment and the hierarchy at the club.
What is down to the manager, though, in my opinion, Jermaine, is if you're not going to change your system for the teams that you're playing against, then you're a bit naive. He's played one system all the way through his tenure. I think he's changed it twice. And he brings the subs on, and you know the subs he's going to bring on. And I get his squad's not the biggest. I get that, but
he sometimes felt, Gary, maybe a little bit too loyal to too many players that maybe overstayed their welcome at the club.
Well, there is that as well, in my opinion. I mean, I've never been a massive Jacob Murphy fan, and he's still there. And for the life of me, I don't know how he's still there. If we want to move on and be a big club, the likes of Jacob Murphy, there was Sean Longstaff at the time. He was a grade 7, but he was never at the level we should be at. We moved him on, great. Murphy needs to be moved on. There's a few fringe players need to be moved on. They're not good enough. They never will be.
Are you worried for next season, Gary, though? With the new manager coming in, no Premier League experience?
I don't think that's an issue. There's a lot of managers didn't have Premier League experience. The lad from Brighton didn't have Premier League experience. He's done great. Crystal Palace manager who's just got to Forest, great manager. Not worried at all, mate. Why would you be? We've got money to spend if we need to. We've bought some decent players. We keep forgetting that we have bought players. They're young, yeah, I get that, but that's not a problem for me. If they're young, then they're hungry, they want to learn. And they want to learn from a coach that wants to coach some different options and different ideas. And if that's the case, great. We do need to sign some more. We're desperate for a goalkeeper. Nick Pope is another one that needs to be moved on. Had his time, thanks very much. Get some money for him. Possibly a right back, and still think we need to centre forward, but I've been saying that for 3 years.
All right, Gary, thank you very much for the call, mate. Enjoy your evening. Let's go to Andy, as another Newcastle fan who's called 03717 223344. Andy, good evening, mate. You're live on the Sports Bar, mate. What would you like to say?
Hey guys, I kind of disagree with a little bit that he says. Murphy, we bought a Langer to be a replacement of Murphy, who didn't hit the ground run last season, but I think maybe this season we might expect a little bit more. He's better in a little bit more. I've seen the last 2 games, he's done a little bit better. Eddie Howe, I think he's got one hand tied behind his back a little bit, to be fair. He's tried his best. The players he's brought in, the players he sold, are literally doubling the price we paid for them. But I feel for him. He's won.
Yeah, no, Gary, Andy, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the problem, isn't it, Jermaine? That that's where I've got a little bit of sympathy with Eddie Howe. You know, big players leaving all the time. It's hard to replace those players. They're not in a position, are they, to better bring in some of the top players. But I also think that's where I'm kind of a little bit. I think Eddie Howe's done a really, really good job, and I think he's taken them as far as he can. But I think with Gary, and a lot of Newcastle fans do say, that maybe sometimes he was just a little bit too loyal and a little bit too stubborn, Eddie Howe.
Yeah, but I don't hear these fans saying these noise, making these accusations when they was in the top half, when they was in the top 4, when they was getting Champions League,
the Champions
when they was
League,
getting Champions League football, when they won the Carabao Cup. And they say, oh, we're playing only one dimension, one way. That's what got you the success. Now all of a sudden it's an issue and it's a problem. But the reason why it's an issue, no, it's not the style. You don't see Man City, well, you did, but hopefully we don't see now Liverpool all changing all their style different. They play a certain way and, the best team will win. That's what Newcastle were doing. But unfortunately, they've lost a lot of their team. They had a lot of injuries. They lost their best striker. So it was always going to be difficult. Teams were making big moves in the summer, big moves in the January. Newcastle weren't. So they were just falling behind slowly. It's not the way the style they're playing. It's just that teams were getting better by bringing in better talent, spending a lot of money. And of course, Eddie Howe wanted that. He wanted players in. He probably saw players that he wanted, but he couldn't get them in because of the rules. So fans saying, oh, we only, like I said, I didn't hear that when you was top 4 or when you were sitting second for the majority of the season, playing against PSG, at St. James's Park. I didn't hear that then, but I think it's not the formation or the style. I think it's just the personnel that they had throughout the season, especially when they had a lot of injuries.
Newcastle fans, keep your calls coming in 03717 223344. Football fans, where do you sort of rate, or how highly do you rate Eddie Howe? Heard from our first caller who believes that if Eddie Howe was in at one of the biggest clubs in the league, whether it's Man City, Man or Liverpool, he thinks he's a good enough coach to win the leagues with the biggest clubs in the Premier League. It is the Sports Bar on talkSPORT, 03717 223344.
John is a Newcastle fan, joins us now. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
John, hold on. John, are you John, the Jack Charlton's son, John?
Yes, I am, yes.
Oh, John, what a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much for that.
Thanks very much.
Are you good? Are you well?
I'm very well, very well.
Good.
Can't complain at all.
It's quite ironic that you phoned up. You know what the date is today, right? July the 30th?
Yes, I do.
60 years ago today, your dad won the World Cup with England.
Yes, and funny enough, me and Eddie were talking about his medal.
Yeah.
I think there's only him and my Uncle Bobby who have kept their medals. Everybody else doesn't have them anymore.
Where's your dad's medal?
I've got it.
Have you?
Mm.
Oh, my
Yeah, I do.
goodness.
Well, there's a bit of a problem with it, actually. When I say I've got it, it was left to me in my dad's will.
Yeah.
But the taxman...
A very good evening. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and Jermaine Pennant with you until 12:30. I went for dinner with a friend a couple of weeks ago. My good mate Joe, who I've known since school. We're live till 1 o'clock, of course, tomorrow morning on talkSPORT. And my mate saw you in a pub in northwest London. He didn't go over and talk to you, but he got talking to another guy who told him a Jermaine Pennant stat. Are you aware of this statistic regarding you? You are the only player, apparently, according to this guy in the pub, the only player to have played in a Champions League final, but to have never played for England.
Yeah. I know that one.
Is that like a well-known fact? You've been told that before?
No, I've heard it before. That's why I've took it personal.
No.
With the FA.
Oh, the FA. I thought you meant with my mate there.
No,
Like, hey,
with the
he's
FA,
a big fan of you, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
With the FA, took it really personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, I was definitely good enough, but there was like a few misdemeanors off the field. And so
you think that worked against you?
100%. So
you know that?
We're going to overlook it. But I'm telling you, there's I don't want to name names.
No, come on, name names.
There's a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Jermaine, Pennant.
Yeah. Because you played a lot, didn't you, for the under-21s, right?
I think I was like the 24th or most capped for England under 21s.
So by that logic, it feels like if you're third on that list.
And playing, like I said, playing in Champions League final as well. The only English one.
And starting as well. Like, you didn't come off the bench.
And not to play for you. Yeah, I took it personal.
Yeah.
That's why I cheer Brazil. And no, I'm joking.
But you, on a serious note, when you sort of around that time when you were playing for Liverpool in the Champions League, were you in contact with the hierarchy
I was injured and I was at the game watching one of the games, done my hamstring, and Steve McLaren was a manager at England at the time. He obviously came to one of the games and we crossed paths in the directors' boxes, and he says, "Oh, look, keep going. You're
close.
Yeah, you're doing well." I was like, "Oh, sweet." Kept doing well, but didn't get that call up.
Really, never got the call up.
Kept doing well. All right,
but when you didn't get the call up,
is this not in?
It would hurt, or did you try and see as I'm going to get away for 2 weeks and try and take the kind of positive from it, or you can't because it's your country?
Yeah, I've had the experience of playing with England and 21s. I know how good it is, and I know how passionate I was when I had the wearing the badge. And like I said, when you're playing for a big team like Liverpool, Uniteds, and Cities and Arsenals, then you play in a Champions League final. It's kind of automatic that all the the English players to get there. I've got to be good enough to get in the final. I've got to be good enough to start.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a given that there will be at least included in the squad.
Yeah.
But to get overlooked and all that, but I understand why, and I know why.
Yeah. And do you think that's fair or not? Is that do you think
not really? Because stuff off the field out of the shouldn't really determine of how.
Also, do you maybe think that if you kind of have, let's say, you do one thing kind of off the field that maybe makes headlines, that kind of sticks with you, maybe throughout your career, where like
100%.
people, because I think with Marcus Rashford, people will talk about that kind of night out he had in Dublin and kind of use that as a stick to beat him with. And sure, he made a mistake there and shouldn't have done it. But like Marcus Rashford, for what, 10 years, 8 years in Man United, I say was normally pretty available for them and always there. And it feels like that kind of 1 or 2 mistakes he made kind of gets used against him. Whereas, you can get older, mature, and grow up, right?
Yeah, 100%. And people do forget that we are human.
Yeah.
We will make mistakes.
And you were young ones, right?
Young ones, and just because we're in the public eye and we're an athlete, and people always talk about how much you're getting paid, but that has nothing to do with emotions and feelings. We don't just get more money and then all of a sudden our feelings get turned off and emotions and all that. We hurt and bleed the same, cry the same, laugh the same. It was just young and stupid mistakes as young kids and young boys make. But unfortunately, when you're in the public eye, that gets blown up and everyone sees it.
Look, didn't happen, but you got to play for your Boyer club in a Champions League.
That's the main thing.
Let's end on a positive. There we go. Champions League final. You shared a picture of Steven Gerrard. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's with him.
Gerrard pinging the ball to Pennant on that right-hand side.
I was with him 2 months ago as well in South Korea.
Yeah? How was he?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Is he coming back to management soon, or is he enjoying his time?
He's enjoying his time.
Yeah,
he's
bit of a
enjoying
break.
his time, mate.
Let's go back to the phone line, shall we? Lots of Newcastle fans wanting to get involved this evening on 0371 722 3344. Eddie Howe set to leave the football club after a successful time at St James's Park. Stephen, you're live on talkSPORT. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, Stephen. Good, thank you. How have you been feeling today? Sad, happy? A little bit of both?
I think you've got to be measured with the whole thing. Towards the end of last season, I was becoming to come around to the point that it did kind of feel like it was coming to its natural conclusion. If you look at his time at Bournemouth, it kind of ended in a similar way. But that's not to say that I'm not eternally grateful to the man for what he's done for Newcastle. He's undoubtedly leaving us in a much better position than he found us. He's given us our greatest memory for 50 plus years. But I just kind of wanted to pick up on a point that Jermaine had made, and potentially pick this up wrong, but Jermaine, I think you were kind of saying that it's not necessarily the fact that we weren't able to spend, it was more poor recruitment, which I think to a point that's true. But I mean, if you look at the fact that we haven't been able to spend, and then if you compare that to Chelsea, you know, when I was a kid, Chelsea really weren't a fancy team. Then Abramovich came in and he could spend whatever he wanted, and the way they got over the fact that they weren't a fancy team was that they threw money at players that just, let's be honest, wouldn't have signed for them. And exactly the same thing happened with City when they got all their millions. You know, I remember Yaya Toure signing in, was it 2010?
Yeah.
On 250 grand a week. And at the time, everyone was like, that's just unfathomable for that player to go to that club and be paid that amount. And if you fast forward to 2026 in Newcastle, despite having all of these riches, we can't even afford to pay Sandro Tonali more than 150 grand. And the players that we're going after, when the big six clubs can offer them double, of course that's going to have an impact on our recruitment. And, you know, after 5 years of that, you can't really blame Howe for walking away and just thinking, you know what it is, I've taken it as far as I can under these circumstances.
Yeah, no, I totally can't understand what you're saying and why Eddie Howe was probably walked away. But when I meant like the recruitment could have been better, as in like I think some of the deals were definitely panic buys. Like if you look at Voltemade, I think there was talk of him trying to either let him go out on loan or sell him. And then you've got Johan Wissa, who's not really lived up
Alanga as well.
Alanga and Wissa's not really... That's free. It's not cheap money. It's a lot of money for those three players, and they've not worked out. So that's why I'm set out on the recruitment side. But yeah, I understand what you're saying totally, Paul.
Yeah, I think you're right on Voltemade. I do think that was a bit of a panic buy after going after João Pedro and then Sesko and that, and there was not coming through. But I do think there's a player in there, and hopefully this Yassel or whatever he's called is the guy to unlock them.
Stephen, thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Ewan, another Newcastle fan. Ewan, you're live on talkSPORT. How are you, mate?
Good, you?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. How are you feeling? It feels like Newcastle fans are quite mixed today.
To be honest, mate, I'm really, really upset about the news. I mean, it was quite unexpected. I mean, the timing of it was awful, to be fair. I think if they were going to do something, they should have done it at the end of the season, not now, 4 weeks before the season starts, you know what I mean? And I think it's the timing of it's really bad. I'm quite upset by it, though. After everything he's done, he's literally gave me the best day of my life last year. I'll never forget that.
Was there any part of Ewan that sort of towards the end of the season, you know, with obviously last season was a struggle, finishing, you know, in the bottom half? Any part of you that maybe thought Eddie Howe would taken the club as far as he could, or did you think, you know, with the right players this summer, he could have gone again?
I think after the second Derby Day defeat, I think that was for me. I think that was the main point that made me think that he has taken it as far as he can. He's done what he can. He's took with 2 Champions Leagues, one with a trophy. I don't think he can do much else.
Yeah, I just think with a better squad, with the reins, you know, unleashed and let go, and be able to get the players he wants and offer the wages that they should be able to, I think he would have took Newcastle and been really successful with them.
Ewan, how do you see the Bruno Guimaraes saga playing out over the next couple of weeks? Looks like Arsenal are finally going to come in for their first bid. Look, obviously the club, I think reports suggest that, you know, Arsenal are confident of striking a deal. I mean, certainly now that Eddie Howe's gone, does it feel inevitable that Bruno Guimaraes is going to want to go?
Definitely. But the weird thing is, he's been seen on social media. I don't know if you've seen. He was in Brazil. He was wearing a Newcastle United hat. And now, after all the Arsenal stuff, that is really weird. I still think he's going to go. I think he's been linked with Arsenal since he first joined Newcastle. Yeah. I think it's inevitable. He's on his way out. And I think if we can get enough money for him, I would let him go. You can't have a player on your team who doesn't want to be there. I think I wouldn't take anything less than £85 million from him, though. After everything he's done, without him this season when he was injured, that was when we were at our worst.
Sure.
When we got beat by Sunderland. I think, yeah, that's probably why we got beat, because he wasn't there.
Look, this season, are you, I won't say writing it off, but are you expecting to be in the bottom half of the table? Because let's just 4 individuals, 4 personnel that have, potentially going to be leaving. In Bruno, we know Tonali's already gone, Gordon's gone, and Howe's gone.
And Jason Tyndall, don't forget him, mate.
And Jason Tyndall arguing
big personality.
Arguing with everyone on the sideline.
In the 4 officials here.
With those 4 people, how do you really see, where do you see yourself finishing, and what is a successful season now?
You know what? For the next couple of years, I can't see us going anywhere. I can see us going backwards, and that's about it. But I think I think he's called Yassil, Matthias Yassil. If he comes in and he does the right job, he's gonna have to do it quick, because he's not got much time to get everyone to know him properly. I think if he comes in and he does well, maybe I would accept a top 8 finish. That's very, very, very ambitious.
Yeah, I think you take the top 8 finish now, when you're
because he's got to come in. He's got to come in, and he will obviously have a different style of football to Eddie Howe. So it's to get the boys to implement that, to get that message across, to get the boys to buy into it. You need more than 4 weeks, I can tell you that. You need more than a pre-season to get that going. So
exactly, I think with obviously Eddie Howe starting out pre-season, if the new manager's only going to have 2 or 3 games in pre-season, that's not going to be enough time to get his grips with the squad and get the players he wants and sort out his tactics.
Yeah, and by the way, you and Jermaine, I mean, are we speaking enough about Jason Tyndall there? I mean, there probably hasn't been, an assistant manager, maybe certainly in recent Premier League history, who's kind of been as well known, as famous as Jason Tyndall. I mean, lots of people are gonna miss seeing that face on the touchline at St James's Park.
Oh, I'm gonna miss him. I mean, when I go to I don't go to many games, but when I do go to the games, he's probably one of my main highlights of the games. He's a cracking manager, and a cracking assistant manager. Sorry, and I wouldn't mind him being our number one manager, because I think the personality, a bit like Kevin Keegan. Obviously, we know we've had the bad news last week. Like Kevin Keegan, he's passionate, and there's not many managers like that anymore.
Yeah,
passionate about the team.
Ewan, appreciate the call, mate. Have a good evening, man.
Mate, see you later.
I also, one of the first callers made a good point. Football is never as straightforward as this. Not everyone gets the sort of send off, but it's a shame that Howe has kind of gone like this. Almost through the back door a little bit. Whereas, again, if there was some sort of announcement maybe towards the back end of the season, you could almost imagine if he did a lap around St James's Park, he would have got some ovation, and that man deserves that, doesn't he?
Like I said, he's brought so much joy on these Newcastle fans. 70 years without any silverware, to then bring that back to this generation. That some of them not even born since they last won anything. Now to really cherish that and enjoy that and bring that back to the city of Newcastle. He deserves a lot of praises to get them back where they once were, up fighting to the top, and to just walk away and not get the fans and plaudits. It's a bit of a shame.
Taking your calls up until 11 o'clock this evening on the Sports Bar. 03717 223344.
Thomas Tuchel, what he said, he's a key player for us, whether as a starter or as a substitute. The word substitute will even be uttered about Virgil van Dijk. Imagine someone saying that to Virgil van Dijk, even at 40.
No, I think
be a substitute.
No. You're massively cherry picking.
I'm saying. No. Sorry, they just played the clip. No. They just played the package, and it was Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, saying he's a key player for us, whether as a starter or a substitute.
This is appalling from you. This is the very definition. When Donald Trump's moaning about fake news, it's you.
Sorry, I just basically quoted what the England manager said.
Okay. how important is context? The reason that he spoke like that is because he was accused of taking an injured player to a tournament. So the reason that he said he's going to be a key player for us, whether he's a substitute or whether he's a starter, is because it was suggested that you shouldn't take a player who has had an injury-ravaged season.
Oh, no,
So therefore,
injury-ravaged career.
Injury-ravaged career, fine. But the reason that he was talking about him being a substitute...
I feel bad here because you're about to make me bury John Stones, and I don't want to. I think John Stones is a fantastic human being, fantastic defender.
You're not going to bury
maybe England's greatest defender. Maybe it's 50, 60 years.
He's England's greatest defender since Bobby Moore. Of course he is. He's England's greatest defender. If you look at what he's done on an...
big statement.
Hang on, can we just talk about John's
statement?
Addy.
No, this is...
Good evening, it's the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and Jermaine Pennant are with you until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. We are with talkSPORT Bet. You can visit talksportbet.com today for exclusive offers and bonuses. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. First time for me on the Sports Bar, by the way.
This is your debut, isn't it?
Nerve-wracking because this is, this is Haaaaas seat and you're in Cundy seat and the boys have become...
iconic
cult heroes in the world of
iconics,
English football broadcast, just English football fandom in general, right?
A lot of carnage.
Yeah, pure carnage, right?
Welcome,
so,
Sam, welcome to Sports.
Mate, it's good to be on the Sports Bar. I mean, normally I've spent 6 weeks of the World Cup getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to come into work and do the early sports breakfast show and be on the breakfast show. So from sort of the vibe of 5 o'clock in the morning as you're waking people up, it's a little bit more chill, bit more relaxed. But, Thursday's a new Friday. It's Thursday night, right? We've got to be on it, right?
Got to be energetic, bringing that, show me some energy.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah. Well, it was weird today.
More energy. For footwork.
Where's that from?
It's a meme, innit? It's on Instagram. Yeah.
What though? Who is it?
I don't know. It's just I can't remember. What.
I know. Okay. You know. It sounds really.
More energy.
If you keep doing it, I might be able to think about who it was. Do it one more time.
We'll get it up in the break.
No, do it one more time, please.
No. I'll get it on YouTube after.
Okay. All right. While you do that, let's go to Sammy, he's a Newcastle fan. Sammy, happy Thursday evening, mate. How are you?
Hello, mate. I was just wanting to ring up to say just the appreciation for Eddie Howe, to be honest. And
go on, mate.
Go on. The floor's yours, pal.
Yeah, I think he's been absolutely fantastic, and nothing I would want more than to get the England job, to be honest. I think he absolutely deserves it.
Here's the question for you, Sammy, because I'm with you. I think Eddie Howe is an unbelievable manager. And even you go back to his work at Bournemouth, taking them from League Two up to the Premier League, Bournemouth, Newcastle, the work he's done is brilliant. If we take England out of it for a second and just look at the club landscape, where do you think is the biggest club that would want him? Like, let's just say that all the big clubs, United, City, Liverpool, all the Premier League teams are looking for a new manager. What sort of level do you think he could go into?
Well, hopefully not Premier League, but maybe do what Bobby Robson done, go to Spain.
Yeah. No, but like, do you think if United were looking for a new manager, do you think they would look at Eddie Howe and say, "Yeah, we'll take Eddie Howe"? Because for me, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. I think he's the best English manager at the moment, so I don't see why they wouldn't want an English manager.
Yeah. All right, Sammy. Thank you very much for the call. Look, let's not forget. I mean, Thomas Tuchel was only initially given a 2-year contract, wasn't he? And then it was kind of that bizarre timing of extending the contract before the World Cup. Eddie Howe would be perfect for England. He's got the track record at Newcastle, the track record at Bournemouth. He would know a lot of these players. Yeah. He knows the league. He would be aware of the pressures and the scrutiny that faces English managers. Gemma, one thing that I think is going to be absolutely fascinating about next season is the unpredictability of it. You look at the traditional Big Six clubs, all of them, apart from Arsenal, are going in to the season with either new managers that have joined in the summer or have joined midway through last season. I saw a ridiculous stat earlier on social media today. Michael Carrick is the 7th most long-standing manager in the Premier League. He joined in January. He's been there for 6 months. That shows how many new clubs are going into the new season with new managers.
It's literally a new era. It's literally, let's wipe the board clean. Let's get some new faces in, and let's start again. And build from there. That's what it kind of seems like. The players that we used to know, the managers that we've saw fighting against one another, that's kind of slowly dying out, and it's changing. And it does that. If you look at the Alex Ferguson era, when those top managers went and Arsene Wenger, that battle, and Jose Mourinho, now it's the Peps have gone and the Klopps have gone. So it's a new breed of youngsters coming through as well. So
yeah, literally
shows your age.
Next season, obviously Arteta's there at Arsenal.
Yeah,
Chelsea got a new gaffer in Alonso. City got a new gaffer in Maresca. Liverpool and Areola, and obviously De Zerbi at Spurs and Carrick at United. Joined midway through last season. I'm looking at I think Chelsea have had a really, really good start to the window. Even just forget about players. I even think just getting in Xavi Alonso could be the best coup of the whole summer.
I think they've had a fantastic window, and I'm surprised because I thought there's under all sorts of financial restrictions.
They're all good.
They're not restrictions, but was needing to get out to be able to bring in. But they've just smashed the market and got Rodgers, which I think playing the way he's going to do it with 2 number 10s is fantastic. I think that will be a absolute diamond for Chelsea.
Yeah, but
playing those two together.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you just put down, the team. You say João Pedro leading the line, and you think but let's say it's 4-2-3-1.
It's going to be
Esteval, Palmer, Rodgers, with Caicedo and Enzo
slight win back
sitting as the two. Obviously, Reece. People forget Levi Colwill as well coming back. He missed all last season, didn't he? Lacroix coming in. You think left back now and goalkeeper, and again, this is the team that've only got obviously no European football as well. Playing 1 game a week with the quality of players are there. You got someone like a Cole Palmer with a point to prove. Morgan Rodgers coming in there. Esteval, we know he's a top player. He was very in and out last season. Again, 1 game a week for most of the season. I think they're
going to be dangerous. I think they're going to be dangerous. I know they've had a bad few seasons, but I think with this manager coming in, the signings that they're making, I think this is going to steady that ship now, and I think now you're going to start and seeing the fruits of the labour for Chelsea.
Colin, the Man United fan, he's called 03717223344. Colin, good evening, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. Good evening, boys. You all right?
We're good, thank you. We're bubbling along nicely.
Colin in the shed?
I am in the shed.
What are you doing? What's in the shed?
Well, obviously my drinks cabinet is in the shed, but I haven't got a drink tonight because I want you to ring up talkSPORT and talk about FIFA.
Oh, you want to do FIFA now, do you?
Well,
the floor is yours, Colin. The floor is yours.
All right. Just a bit of history here. When the FIFA World Cup started, first of all, politically, we had a bit of a problem where FIFA gave a peace medal to Trump. Now, that was pretty obvious that there was some political shenanigans going on.
Okay.
And then 4 weeks ago, when I rang talkSPORT Sports Bar and said, there is going to be a breakaway from Europe. And it was pretty obvious when Trump said, my centre forward, playing for America, has got sent off, and I don't think you should have been looking at it again. So that was changed. Then we had to start off with, we had 48 teams who didn't want Europe to win it, but that didn't work. So we'll go 64 next time because Europe are dominating it. Straight away, it was pretty obvious that Trump, who said just before the quarterfinals, Infantino's a wonderful person, and we'd like the World Cup again very soon. So there was a lot of pressure, political pressure on there, and then we find out that we're going to sell the rights for FIFA, and we're going to sell it to Trump's son-in-law, and a venture group that actually tried to get the European Super Cup going. Now, it was pretty obvious that Europe was saying, oh, no, stop. And now Colin Kaepernick come out with it and said, no. And it was quite obvious that Europe would say, no, look, we put 70% of the cash into this. We're the best supported teams. We always get to the end, and we're not having it. And I can see if it doesn't change, and I can't see him surviving. Nobody's going to win him. Nobody's going to get him out of office for the simple reason all the smaller nations outvote the big nations. So I can still see something happening here. He'll still try and force it through because if he's going to suddenly become a 40 million wage structure, he's definitely going to want that, isn't he? But if Europe hold tight, the big money will not want to have a World Cup without the European and the North Americans.
And that's exactly it, Colin, right? That's exactly it. If there's no England, there's no Germany, there's no Spain, there's no Jude Bellingham, there's no Kylian Mbappe, there's no Lamine Yamal, they're not going to want to invest in this project, right?
Absolutely. And you can see Europe saying, right, well, let's have a World Football Association and we're no political, let's replace FIFA. Because FIFA has been, for the last 30, 40 years, FIFA has been a thorn in Europe's side. They do not like Europe having the power. They do not like them having the money. And they tried everything they can. Africa, that was supported. So they put everything into Africa. But when it came to Egypt playing the Argentina, because they wanted Messi, because he was a favourite of America, all of a sudden, Egypt 2-0 up, made it 2-2, scored a lovely goal for the third goal. Oh, no, we can't have that because we had a foul right up on the edge of the area there. So it was politically very poor, and Infantino, we all thought he may be a breath of fresh air for FIFA. But he's the same as all the rest. And he's politically motivated. He's looking at, in my own opinion, and I'll just say this, my own opinion, and doing it.
Colin, thank you very, very much for the call. Toby Geddes is going to join us at 11:15 to sort of bring us up to date with everything happening today. But the big news is that European football's 55 member associations have voted to boycott the World Cups if the sports governing body proceeds with the plan to sell stakes in its competition to private investors. And also, very recently, we learned that all 41 CONCACAF members have rejected Gianni Infantino's FIFA Forward enterprise plans. Toby Geddes with us at 11:15 to dot the I's, cross the T's. But up next on the Sports Bar, we're looking back on a very, very special anniversary today.
King Edward I, long live the King, gave us the best day that every fan, I'm sure they'll say, they'll ever remember as a black and white supporter. But he should have gone after Fulham at the last game of the season. And I think the leadership have just let this one get out of control a little bit. They should have took ownership of that after Fulham at the last game of the season.
What was it after that game, mate? What was it at the end of the last season that you saw that you wanted him to move on?
Well, it was before Fulham, lads. So it was unfortunately, it was after them lots beat us for the second time at St James's.
Yeah.
Now, at full time, for the first time in his regime, a section of the fans turned on him, and I was shell shocked. Just stood there listening, and I just left the ground just with my mouth shut and obviously devastated. But since that match, and I could be wrong, some of the fans might come on and disagree with me, but there was a turn of feeling and chemistry inside the ground.
Okay.
But for the ownership and the chief exec to sit there and say by 2030 we want.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, a man called Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Bar with me, Sam Ellard, and the former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant. A reminder, we have a brand new Sports Bar podcast which is available right now, featuring all of the best bits from the show. Still to come tonight, we'll be joined by talkSPORT reporter Toby Gillis as we discuss UEFA threatening to boycott the FIFA World Cup. We're also going to be joined by the legendary football commentator Martin Tyler in a moment as we look back on the 60th anniversary of England's greatest footballing moment.
It's a goal! All the Germans go mad at the referee.
We were just a damn good team then. And I always call that team, when I look at, we have some of the greatest players of any era, Banks, Charlton, Moore, Greaves. I mean, they would compete at any level for 150 years.
They're legends, aren't they? They were fantastic heroes, always will be.
The whole feeling of the World Cup being won did certainly change the team. I mean, Ramsey was later going to be knighted.
People would come up and, shake your hand and it was just, it was absolutely just different, completely different. It was fantastic.
Probably always describe it to me as being on top of Mount Everest.
I defy anybody to look at that film again and come up with a better final commentary than the great Kenneth Wolstenholme.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now. It's goal.
That is one thing that you look back and think, God, that was wonderful.
It's only 12 inches high, solid gold, and it means England are the world champions.
Wow. 60 years ago today, England won the FIFA World Cup. I hate to say this, but this is still the only major international trophy England have ever won. We thought a couple of weeks ago that might be a little bit different. We could have doubled it. But yeah, the 1966 final remains one of the most iconic matches in football history. I'm sure you all know how it goes by now. 2-2 going into extra time. Geoff Hurst scoring 2 more goals to complete his historic hat-trick, becoming the first player to ever score 3 goals in a World Cup final. So yeah, 60 years ago today, England lifting the World Cup. And really delighted to say that joining us now was a legendary voice in English football. Certainly my childhood was listening to Martin Tyler on a weekend on the Premier League games, and delighted to say he joins us now. Martin Tyler is live on talkSPORT. Martin, very good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, nice to talk to you both. Jermaine and I go back to Youth Cup finals with Arsenal, don't we? To the start of his excellent career.
The good old days, Martin. The good old days.
Was he as good as he thought he was, Martin?
He was better than he thought he was, and he knew he was good.
There we go.
High praise, Jermaine. Too good for the opposition at that time, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, we had a great academy team, back to back FA Youth Cup winners as well. So
tell us who was in that team with you, remind us.
My team was me, Jerome Thomas, Stephen Sidwell, David Bentley, and then we played the team above was Jay Bothroyd. Loads.
Good players, yeah. Happy days. Martin, 1966, on this very day, I think it's the day that, whether you were born or not, everybody knows what happened, how it went down. Just if you can, just tell us your memories. And can you believe it was that many years ago?
No, the time's flown by, hasn't it? But I suppose this time, 60 years ago, the lads were out on the town. I know Jack Charlton ended up sleeping on somebody's sofa in the East End of London. Part of the research of what happened on that day includes this post-banquet evening, and they deserve to celebrate, of course. It was an amazing day, amazing for the country, amazing for the players, the squad that had been criticised a little bit. And it's obviously very common now, unless you actually win and play perfectly, to get a bit of stick. And Alf Ramsey's team in the group stage wasn't particularly impressive. They were held 0-0 in their opening game. And finally, Bobby Charlton got them going with a wonderful goal against Mexico. And it got better and better. And, of course, the story really is about Geoff Hurst getting into the team and Jimmy Greaves missing out. I was actually, the one game I went to was the France game when Jimmy got injured and Nobby Stiles committed the tackle, which probably would have had him banned for the rest of the tournament these days. And there were calls then that very night for that to happen. But the FA stuck with Nobby and Alf stuck with Nobby as well. And obviously, you know what happened after that. I watched the final at home like the rest of the country, and it was dramatic because England went a goal down. Then looked as though they'd won it in 90 minutes. Then this free kick was deflected into the path of Weber, the defender, who took it to extra time. And Alf Ramsey said, look, you've won it once, lads, go out and win it again. And they did.
Fantastic, isn't it? Mike, what, obviously, for people like myself who probably didn't watch many of these games and on video or what it may be in the younger generation, what was so good about this team? What made them get over the line? What made them lift that trophy? Because to only win it once in 60 years, it's not an easy feat as one may think.
No, not of course. And it was a smaller tournament then, and I think it's harder to win now. And obviously that's been proved in England's case, England. And playing at home obviously had a tremendous advantage. Alf Ramsey, when he got the job, I think, and certainly carried it through the tournament, saying, we'll win, which put a lot of pressure on him. But of course, his team were able to live up to that. They did have some wonderful players, as in that clip we heard a couple of minutes ago. Alan Ball wasn't mentioned, actually, and he was the man of the match. He ran around for the 2 hours. He was just tireless, and also tireless with talent. And he gave England a real leg up. It was interesting because they wanted to play with wingers at the start. Jermaine, you might a winger many times in your career. The wingers don't always get picked, and England tried 3 different wingers in the 3 group games, and it didn't work. And Alan Ball came in as a sort of midfield player who could run and tore down the flanks and covered every blade of grass on the pitch. Interesting, you put that scoreboard up there on the screen for those of you who are watching. Not so much old school, but I'll tell you a little story that Geoff Hurst wasn't sure that his 4th goal counted because it was right on the final whistle. And he went out, just snuck out from the dressing room after all the presentations and had a look to see whether it was still 4. He got his hat trick. So we've had 60 years of Hurt, but we've had 60 years of Hurst as well, which is something that, and the great man, of course, is the only member of the starting 11.
Of course he is, yeah.
Only 11 played in those days, who's still with us, and long may that continue.
For me, Martin, the 2018 World Cup was, in my lifetime, sort of the first World Cup where we went really, really deep and kind of we had, the hope and belief that we were going to go on and win it. And I'll sort of never forget what the country was like that summer. There was the penalty shootout against Colombia. There was the glorious Saturday afternoon against Sweden in the quarterfinals. The moment where Kieran Trippier put us one up in the semi-final. There's sort of moments I always remember where I was for those moments. The whole country was literally together as one. Kind of, was it the same back then in 66? Did it feel as if the whole country had come together and there was that kind of, excitement and belief and togetherness throughout the whole kind of competition with England?
It was a little bit less, in the sense that I think football it was a back page sport, really, even at the top level. And then gradually, there is a story, I can't remember the details, guys, I'm sorry, but there's a story that one paper's first edition didn't have it on the front page.
No, that's outrageous, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'd love to know what was leading that day, Martin.
Yeah, it was, but it became, obviously, it was just a symbol. I have to say the 1960s were just an amazing time to be alive, and especially if you were young as I was. And it was all part of that pageantry through the decade of success, happiness. It always seemed to be sunny. And it was a really wonderful time to be following anything. The celebrities were coming through, the sort of post-war restrictions, which included rationing when I was a small child. All that had gone. Everybody was reaching for the stars, really, and England managed to find their star, and it was wonderful. It was truly wonderful. I actually missed the first 20 minutes because I was playing cricket, and it rained. It only rained like just a little drip from a shower, but it rained. And we said, we'll call the game off. And so we all jumped in our cars and sped home. And by the time I got home, England were 1 down. I heard it on the radio, on my car radio. And I just sat in the chair. I was living with my mum and dad. Just watched it all the way through to the game, the extra time. And then they went pretty much soon after that to the hotel to see all the post-match celebrations. It was truly wonderful. And thank you for asking me to relive it. I do think about it a lot, and I commentated in Atlanta just a couple of weeks ago, and
oh well, yeah,
we could get to something close again. And I said earlier today on talkSPORT that we shouldn't forget that outside of Wembley, this is the best England have ever done.
Sure, yeah.
To finish third, having had a couple of fourth places, so I think put it into some sort of historical context. It was a very successful World Cup for England, but getting so close, of course, that led to a bit more frustration because if we got knocked out in Qatar in the quarterfinals, everybody would have said, "Oh, good effort."
I can't believe
being in front in the semi was frustrating.
Yeah, no, of course, Martin. I can't believe you just admitted that you missed the first 20 minutes because you're playing cricket. I mean, that's unbelievable.
No. I'll say this to there won't be many young people listening at this time of night. But you've got to play.
You'd be surprised, Martin.
Yeah, well, for you, Jermaine, I'm sure. Yeah, of course, your own personal fan club, and then that's huge. But you played sport for a long time, and I've always believed that playing is the first thing you can do, and then if you can play to a level to play as you did at that elite level, that's great. But if you end up, I was not a bad cricketer really, so we played, and it rained, and I saw all but 20 minutes of it and listened to Ken Woolston's wonderful commentary, which people are on the pitch think it's all over. Jeff Hurst provided the line. He had the line. It is now. It's amazing. It's amazing how that fell into place, really.
Yeah, well, mine, it's great to have you on and to be able to pick your brains of that era. Like I said, many people wouldn't have been able to tell us a story about it. But going into the 1970 World Cup, obviously being the holders, was we in that as favourites, or did the nation thought that maybe we can win it again, or was it just that one time thinking, let's just take that and run with it?
No. The feeling was that England had a better team.
Oh wow!
They would. People like Francis Lee got into the team. And the defenders, Bone was at centre half instead of Jack Charlton. He'd sort of just outgrown the position after a wonderful few years, relatively late in his career. Now England were really backed. And it was, I can remember that day again. I was watching on television. I just got up and to lose it. When you thought maybe we're 2-0 up against West Germany, and then to lose, I just went out and walked around the streets like, not being able to cope with the disappointment. If it was a high in '66, it was a real low when those 3 German goals went in. Yeah. So yeah, I think probably obviously you've got a favouritism when you're playing at home, but I think in a non-England World Cup stage elsewhere in the world, that's as much England have ever been favourites, really.
2030, guys, by the way, you've convinced me now it's coming home. Honestly, I don't want to have to wait 4 more years now. Martin, listening to you look back on 66. I'll be honest with you, after the Argentina game, I didn't want to have to mention a World Cup or England ever again. I was so heartbroken. But having listened to you talk about it, 4 years, 2030, you'll be commentating, Martin. We're winning the World Cup.
I had this thing about we were going to win the World Cup by doing what we did in '66, which was beat Mexico,
Yeah, sure.
Argentina, and France was supposed to be in the final. But actually we knew. But we did beat France in the third and fourth game. We did beat Mexico, but we didn't beat Argentina.
No,
Unbelievable. That was the '66 connection.
Yeah. Still can't believe he went so defensive. We won't revisit that again. Martin, while we've got you on the sports bar, how have you been? What have you been up to? You mentioned obviously you were in the World Cup a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, it feels weird asking Martin Tyler questions and hearing that voice when that voice was just my childhood. Every time I turned on the TV on Sky Sports on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, whenever it's been. But what have you been up to last sort of couple of weeks and months?
Well, I'm still working as a commentator. People know my phone number. I'm still available. I haven't retired.
Sign him up, talkSPORT. Sign him up.
People come. I'm not very good on radio, boys. I have to tell you. I was my penchant for silence isn't very good on radio. It works a bit better on television. No, I still work. I'm still very lucky to be able to, at least in my own parameters. I feel fit. I had a cataract operation, which has really restored the risk of my sight.
Good.
So I want to keep going. I love the game. It's not about earning money. It's about the joy of football, and I'm very lucky to have been doing it as long as I have been. And if there's anybody who wants to keep me in work.
Well, I tell you,
thanks for the advert, guys.
No, this is great. Thanks for coming.
The joy of football, but the joy you've probably brought the listeners, and the sorrow you've brought listeners as well.
Yeah.
When their team gets the last minute.
But Martin, occasionally I'll just be scrolling through TikTok and there'll be a video of Martin Tyler's top 5 commentary calls, and I always enjoy watching them. And obviously, the Aguero one is the Aguero one, but there's so many other great ones as well. There was a game, maybe early 2010s, where Sunderland scored a last-minute goal against Man City at home, and I think it was G maybe rounded the goalkeeper, and just the way he delivered it was amazing. But on an average Martin Tyler week, how many people come up to you and ask you about the Aguero commentary?
Oh, probably a dozen, I would think. I saw Sergio in Dallas when I was working in the World Cup, not to have a long chat with. This was early in the tournament. There were 2 Argentina games very early in the tournament. Messi, of course, set the new landmark, the new record for scoring goals in the World Cup in the game in Dallas. So he was there. Carlos Tevez was doing commentary as well.
Oh, wow.
So we waved at each other, Sergio. And he is a wonderful Argentinian person. So what happens in football field happens on a football field, and it's not great. And obviously the repercussions are going on as we speak, really. But football is like that; provokes a lot of passion, and it was nearly a really great tournament for them. And what Messi did was just astonishing. I don't know quite where that's come from, and they worked him into the team so cleverly. It wasn't that they did all the work. He watches as much as the commentators do, but he's actually on the pitch.
He does. Yeah.
He watches. And
you
then
probably
waits.
move more than him in the commentary box, Martin.
It has happened. Jamie Carragher certainly does. When Liverpool score a goal, he's often running around the stand. But I'm a bit more sedentary than that. But of course, Argentina are going to get punished. But what Messi did should not be forgotten in the furore that's going on at the moment.
Martin, really could talk to you all evening, but we got a break. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll speak to you sooner rather than later.
Cheers, Martin.
All the best, boys. All the best to you.
Thanks so much there to Martin Tyler, the legendary football commentator, proper legend, proper goat, joining us on the Sports Bar. 60 years ago today, 1966, England winning the World Cup. 4 years' time, Jermaine, we will be there, and it's coming home. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Visit talksportbet.com today for exclusive offers and bonuses. It's 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Absolutely devastated.
Go on.
If it was down to me, Eddie Howe would have been the manager for the next 10 years. I think he's been let down by the owners, the board. You've only got to look at the way the club's being run. I mean, how many directors of football, different people coming in, like, above him. His hands are tied. Like, I don't blame him. Like, I respect him for walking. 2 weeks ago, we missed out on a target, and we said about other targets. 2 weeks later, we still haven't signed anybody. We're signing young kids. We're losing our best players. Isaac told the club that he wanted to leave after the cup final. Now, if a player doesn't want to play for you, get rid of him. They had the opportunity to get rid of him. We had a deal agreed, Ekitike to Newcastle, personal terms agreed, medical booked in, fee agreed, and Newcastle hummed and hawed out telling Isaac, as soon as he wanted to know, they should have said, we've got to
It is the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Jermaine, Pennant with you until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. Let's get more jammer, shall we? On, the biggest football story of the day, the week, possibly the month, goodness me. We've learned today European football's 55 member associates have voted to boycott the World Cups if the sports governing body proceeds with that plan to sell stakes in its competitions to private investors. We've also learned within the last couple of hours, all 41 CONCACAF members have rejected Gianni Infantino's FIFA Forward enterprise plans to dot the I's and cross the T's and tell us all the relevant information. talkSPORT reporter Toby Gillis joins us. Evening, Toby. How are you?
Hi, Sam. Hi, Jermaine. How you doing?
We're not bad, thank you. Toby, for people that maybe have been away from their phones today, away from their phones over the last couple of days, just bring us up to speed with this quite remarkable story, mate.
Oh, my word. I mean, look, this is Gianni Infantino at his best, isn't it?
Or worst even, yeah.
Yeah, depending which way you look at it. Yeah, he came out a few days ago and said, it's time, isn't it? It's time that we sent the World Cup and all of FIFA's competitions to the hands of private investors. And he wanted to set up this FIFA Forward enterprise. The assumption is that he would be the man in charge of it and then effectively sell off stakes in these tournaments, including the men's and women's World Cups, for huge amounts of money. Probably, we believe, with the chance of making an awful lot of that cash for himself. And the idea was, look, we'll tell these associations all around the world, we're going to give you $40 million immediately to agree to this with a promise of more to come. And, well, look, at the time, probably all of us thought, we know about the one nation, one vote rule within FIFA. Every single one of the 200 plus members have an equal voting power, as it were, when it comes to these things. And so we just assumed, look, money will talk in this case, because there's enough smaller nations than the type that we're talking about with UEFA that will vote for it because that's so much money to them. It looks tonight like maybe that's not the case.
This was on the cards. Yeah, no, it's.
You're about to cry then.
No, I'm just thinking about it. Like you could see this coming. You could see this coming with the way the World Cup was just handled with, these halftime hydration breaks and the commercials from it. Trump getting involved. You could see, and they had this with Sepp Blatter, and we thought, a new guy coming in can maybe freshen things up and take it in a different direction. But it's like Sepp with a mask.
He makes Sepp Blatter look like a saint, doesn't he, Mr. Infantino? He makes a lot of it's remarkable, isn't it? But Toby, the news that European football's 55 member associates have voted to boycott World Cups if the sports governing body proceeds with a plan to sell stakes in its competition to private investors. Those private investors that are interested, will they still be as interested in this World Cup when there's no England, there's no Spain, there's no France, there's no Lamine Yamal, there's no Kylian Mbappe, there's no Cristiano Ronaldo, etc., etc.?
Sam, you've just had the magnificent Martin Tyler on, haven't you? Shall we steal a Martin Tyler phrase?
Please do.
Then rather ruin it, I guess, like FIFA's tried to do with the World Cup. And it's dead. I think it's fair to say that FFE is dead in the water with what UEFA
You believe there is no chance this carries on with the 55 European members pulling out, right?
It can't.
Well, I mean, look, the investors that you've just spoken about are surely going to go back to Gianni Infantino and go, I've made a promise to you based on the World Cup as we know it, and possibly with the promise of more matches, maybe it being played more frequently, more teams getting into it. Not a World Cup that doesn't involve, well, just take the last World Cup that just finished a couple of weeks ago. 6 of the last 8 were European. 3 of the last 4 were European. The winners were European. Are we seriously expecting these investors to, at the very, very least, offer the same amount of money as Gianni Infantino will want for this, let alone be interested in investing at all? It's just not going to happen. UEFA always held the power. I put this on my Instagram only last night. I was talking about, if UEFA decide to boycott FIFA or pull out of FIFA entirely, which was an even more extreme option to them when they all met today, then this can't possibly go ahead, because it's not just about the World Cup as well. We should also remember that while to many of us the Club World Cup is this new invention that so few of us are wildly interested in, possibly bar Chelsea fans who had that magnificent win against PSG, of course. But FIFA's idea behind the Club World Cup was about getting a bigger slice of the club game, a bigger slice of that pie. Now, where is all the money in the club game? Far more than the international game. It's in the European clubs. If they're not involved in the Club World Cup, then that plan's dead in the water as well. So FIFA cannot continue with this. Every single element of this that was kept quiet, kept secret by Infantino and presumably a few people that knew what was going on over the last few months as they hatched this plan. Every single element of this was not thought through properly. And for once, the most powerful body in football, FIFA, has been undermined fatally here by its sort of continental counterparts.
Well, we know there's re-elections coming up. Will this have any impact on Infantino being able to stay in charge as president?
If it dies, I think he, metaphorically speaking, dies with it. I think his position goes. We assumed that the smaller nations even in Europe, only this morning we were talking about the Czechs who were sort of, eyeing this up and going, that money could really help us develop the game in Czech Republic. But, you think of your Haitis, your Guatemalas, some of these Central American nations that are represented by CONCACAF, which Sam mentioned in the intro to this piece. And you think, to them, that money is so big that surely they can't turn it down. Surely they'll vote for it. But they still have to be part of CONCACAF. And if the powerhouses within each of these continental organizations are not for it, then they're kind of going to have to go with it. And it seems that for once, all the money in the world isn't enough to take control away from these countries that really want to be involved in the World Cup, that probably have no chance of playing in the World Cup, even if there's 64 teams, even if there's 128 teams. They understand the importance of the World Cup in its current guise. And to hand over control to people whose interest is not the football and who's really not the sort of building up of the game in these lesser nations, with all due respect, it's all about money. They understand the long-term problems with that.
Toby, thank you so much for summing that up so well. And if you don't mind me saying, you are looking absolutely fly, my man. You've got a fresh trim. You've got a fresh beard. I've never seen you looking so fly. Please tell me you didn't just get a shave and a trim for us this evening, right?
Do you know what? I went yesterday and Sam, you know what I look like normally. I am a much more hirsute man than this. I have curly hair.
You do.
I went to get a trim yesterday and I'll tell you what, let's just say I had a language problem. I asked to have it shorter, but keep the curls. The curls got lopped off. Very upset.
And then he does that awkward thing where he shows you your haircut and you're like, well, it's too late now, mate. You're taking it all off. There's not much I can do now.
I mean, I think he did a nice job if this is what I'd asked for.
Yeah, mate, I like it. How much did you pay?
I think for this and the beard, about 38.
Oh, you got ripped
Is that
off.
all right? I don't know.
No, ignore him.
At least I'm not. How much is it Micah Richards pays for a haircut? Like twice a week, 200 quid or something.
Honestly,
at least I'm not on that sort of cost.
Jermaine gets a cut 3 times a week, bang out of order. Toby, thanks so much for joining us, mate. Have a good rest of your evening.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
That is Toby Gillis, talkSPORT reporter, dotting the I's and crossing the T's there. This is the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. You can download the app today for all the latest transfer odds and offers. Is 18 plus. Gamble away the log between now and midnight. We got the best of the back pages with talkSPORT's Jack Cunningham. And up next, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of transfers.
It has gone crazy, but I think that you almost have to just suspend your reality.
And not the worst things about this crazy spending. How many in the history of the Premier League have actually landed?
No, that's true.
One.
I would say of
Virgil
the most
van Dijk. One
of the most expensive players in the Premier League. Like Romelu Lukaku is on that list twice.
Yeah.
And he failed twice. Paul Pogba is on that list.
Yeah.
Failed.
Harry Maguire's not failed, but
Yeah.
he's not,
I mean, Andrei Shevchenko at one point would have been on that list. Failed. Fernando Torres at one point would have been on that list. Failed.
Yeah.
There are countless examples of players who have moved for huge amounts of money, come with that level of expectation. And
Declan Rice has lived up to it.
Declan Rice has most certainly lived
still
up to
too much, but he's lived up to it.
Well, Declan Rice is actually an interesting one because I would argue that if there is a £100 million player, Declan Rice is it. Declan Rice.
That's
I think Declan Rice has. Well, if you look at what Declan Rice has done since he's been at Arsenal, he won European silverware, uninspiring European silverware in my opinion, but he won European silverware at West Ham. He then went to.
I'm loving the Sports Bar, by the way.
You like it?
This is fun, isn't it?
Fun, isn't it?
It's great being on the radio so late.
It's so
you just feel a bit more free, don't you? Feel a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
Feels like if I say something really silly, it'll be funny because it's late at night.
You can get away with it.
Also, the music coming out of the breaks as well. It's just cooler, just better.
DJ's on it tonight.
Yeah, just the stuff in the morning just feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit, boring maybe compared to this sort of stuff.
Gotta be like, straight and proper.
You got to be straight and proper.
You got to be serious.
Is that why they don't let you on the mornings anymore? Because you're just JP can go a little bit too rogue, right? Or you can't do the early starts.
I'm like a chameleon. I can adapt.
You can adapt.
They need me in the morning. I adapt.
That's why Rafa loved you, mate.
I wouldn't say you love me.
Mate, maybe not. But the thing is, though, mate,
eye,
Stevie says this all the time. They didn't have maybe the best, but as a footballer, they got on it, right?
He saw talent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's as far as it went.
Yeah, but that's enough, though, isn't it, mate? He's not doing a Champions League.
You need
final.
more than that.
You need more than that. You need a hug.
Yeah,
you need to be told you're the best thing since sliced bread.
TLC.
Yeah.
Cuddle.
What manager gave you the best of that?
So I'll say it, and I'll say it all to my Blues blue in the face.
Go on.
Steve Bruce.
Brucey.
He's just fantastic. He knows how to get the best out of his players.
Yeah. Did you play in the Champions League final under him though? Don't think so, mate.
No, I didn't.
But let's show some Rafa some love.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Rafa, cheers, mate.
Here we go. Do you think Rafa has ever listened to talkSPORT before? I love the idea of Rafa just being in his car and he's got you slagging him off despite starting in the Champions League final.
Maybe no.
Yeah, maybe back when he was managing England, he could put on a bit of talkSPORT on his way into the training ground.
Oh yeah.
A lot of managers do that. We've had Arnie Slot, Ruben Amorim both say when they come to England, they have talkSPORT, not just for the football chat, but to kind of understand the football lingo, the football language and stuff.
Just to see if we're slating them off. And do you know, I think some of them listen and go, oh, yeah, that's a good point they're making.
Yeah, just taking notes. Like,
I'm going to take Gakpo off.
Yeah. Why does Gakpo just keep cutting in on his right foot from the left-hand side and getting absolutely nowhere? I love the idea of like listening to Adam Brazil in the morning. They're like, oh, that pub sounds good, doesn't it, in Essex? What bar's that in Canary Wharf that sounds really good? The best one, remember the one where I think Liverpool weren't playing, but Man United got battered by Brentford on a Saturday evening, like 4-0. And the week after, Liverpool were playing Man United. And, you know, Klopp was asked about the bad Man United performance. And he goes, I was on the way home from my own game that Saturday. And Gabby Igbonlor was slacking off, man. Yeah. I love the idea they're doing the phone in. And Jurgen Klopp's on his way home from the game.
That's why.
And he's listening to Gabby thinking, what's going on here,
It's
mate?
got to be constructive, because if they're listening, you never know, they may take note.
Well, it's talkSPORT is always constructive, right?
All the time, pal. This is the top radio station.
Well, let's now get a constructive update on the transfer window with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Throwing you plenty of transfers, Jermaine, in the next 5 minutes or so. Liverpool preparing an opening offer for PSG winger Bradley Barcola, who is valued at around £129 million. Do Liverpool get this done, and how important is this signing going to be to your former side?
Well, the fact that Mo Salah's gone, I think it's straight out. They need width. They need wide players. They need attacking players. So there's been too much noise surrounding this deal for it to not happen. I think it's just literally coming to the right figure. I think that's probably maybe a little bit too much. A little, maybe 10 million shy of that probably may do it. But we've seen him in the World Cup. We've seen him for PSG. We've seen him in Champions League. We've seen how good he can be. He's got pace. And in this era of football, that goes a long way. And if the way Areola wants to play is direct, if you look at the Bournemouth when he had Semenyo on one side, this is the player that he would love and he'd like to have. So, yeah, I really hope as a Liverpool fan that they can get this one over the line. One thing that is probably a question mark is not his end product, but the scoring the goals, finishing. We saw in the World Cup where he had plenty of chances, some good chances, but was a bit wasteful. But getting there, doing the stuff to get there, to create a goals, go past the player is fantastic. But just that little end bit. But he's still young. He can get better. He can learn of that.
What else does Liverpool need?
I would say right back, maybe, because you can't bank on Bradley. Frimpong. I don't think Frimpong's a right back in my eyes.
What is he? I'm not too sure myself.
I don't really know. He's not a winger.
When he plays right wing, he's not good enough going forward. When he plays right back, he's not good.
He's not good defensively. So yeah, I don't know. So they definitely need a bit of strengthening there. And for me, a DM, I think a good central defensive midfielder would be key, because I don't think Gravenberch did good in his first season there, but I don't think that
midfield was too exposed last season.
Yeah, I don't think he's the answer for that role. He likes to wander forward a little bit too much, as a DM wouldn't really do.
Chelsea have completed the signing of Maxime Lacroix from Crystal Palace in a deal worth £51 million. This is a good signing for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think they needed strength, definitely in the defence. I think that was probably their weakest point alongside the goalkeeper. If you look at the centre-backs, they didn't really have a solid experienced defender. Obviously, Colwell got injured throughout the season, which is a big loss, and then there was just chopping and changing throughout the season. So that is a good signing. 50 million in the Premier League era now for a good centre back, for a good player, is you'd say fantastic piece of business. And like I said, they've made some great signings so far with Morgan Rogers as well.
What will the ambition be for Chelsea next season, do you think? Maybe just
top four.
Yeah, just get first season back in the Champions League.
I think Champions League football, they've got none this season, so they're going to have a lot of time for rest. They're not going to play 2 games a week at times. So I think their main aim will be top 4. But listen, I think they're going to be dark horses for challenging.
You think challenging for the league?
Yeah, their goal is top 4, but the way they're going, I don't think they're finished as well in this transfer window. I think there'll be another surprise package.
The goalkeeper's the one. I don't think they're going to sign a goalkeeper because I think they like Sanchez at the club. But I just think he's too erratic. I actually thought last season he had a better season than I thought he was going to have. But I still just think overall he's clumsy with the ball at his feet. He doesn't command his area. And I think you go through that whole team, that 11, they're looking pretty stacked. They can go out and sign a goalkeeper. I like Chelsea next season. Yeah. Everton, Leeds, Nottingham Forest are monitoring Liam Delap, of course, currently plays at Chelsea. Value him up to £40 million. He struggled last season at Chelsea. I think there's no doubt about that. He's 23 years old. He's a youngish centre forward. Do you see a player there that you think, with more time in the Premier League, can develop into a top striker? Or do you just think Chelsea almost sort of say, you know what, we brought you in, it hasn't worked out, it's time to move you on? Do you think he's at Chelsea's level?
Listen, he's a great player, but just some players just do not work out at some clubs. He may go on now to Everton or Leeds or Forest and be such a better player because he's not gone a bad player overnight. But when he was at Ipswich, it was good. It was very, very good. Hence the move to Chelsea. But at a club like Chelsea, it's just not worked out, whether it's style, whether it's formation, whether it's so many little things can go against you. So sometimes some players, when they're at a big club, it's sometimes out of the depth and they go in themselves. And then they haven't got the time to showcase their skills because if they don't play good in 2 or 3 games and not scoring, then they've got big players who can, right, that's it. Sure. You're not in the squad now. Where a team at Nottingham Forest, he could be the main man. And if he knows he's the main man...
And I also think at a team like that as well, if you go 2 or 3 games without scoring, there's not as much scrutiny on you.
Not much pressure.
Score 1 and 4, 2 and 6, and it's not that much of an issue.
And that's what he's doing for Ipswich.
That was all thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. It's 18+. Gambleware.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Geordie Jack Cunningham is with us next for the best of the back pages.
This is probably one that Darryl would be more interested in because it concerns his beloved Liverpool.
Don't sign him. Don't sign him.
You don't want
him? No, not for that kind of money, no. We need a central defender. We need another midfielder. Yes, we need a winger. They spent 100-odd million on him. They're not going to do any more, and we need a right back. I just think, I look at his figures, and I look at where he is and whatever else. No, I'm not having it. Not having it. No.
Wow. See, I think he'd be a great addition to the Premier League. But in terms of the figures, obviously PSG were touting over the weekend. They wanted 145 million. I think the opening bid from Liverpool is going to be a lot less than that, maybe nearer the 80 to 100 million pound mark with add-ons. Will that be enough to persuade them to do business? Who knows? But Barker isn't signing a new contract as it stands, so PSG not necessarily in a strong position.
Why do you think he'll be a serious asset in the Premier League? Tell me what he can do in the Premier League. I've looked at all his data. I've seen his Champions League data. I've seen in France. Someone even put up a comparison with Cody Gakpo, and I'm not his biggest fan. Gakpo was pretty much ahead of him in a lot of the data. World Cup goals, Champions League goals, and I'm not no comparison, but you've just made a statement there that you want to see him in the Premier League and whatever. Why?
I think he's a top player. I think he's been a top player for France. He's part of a PSG team that
Good evening. It is the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and the former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant with you until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, though, it's time for this. It is the Ralph Ellis back pages where myself and Jermaine bring you tomorrow's sports headlines tonight. And the man to help us do that is Jack Cunningham from talkSPORT.com. Hey, Jack, how are you, mate?
Evening, mate. You good?
Yeah, good. An emotional first day for you, mate. A long day for you.
Yeah, it's been a strange day.
How are you holding up, pal?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you sure?
I'm good, yeah. I'm good. Yeah, we'll get it.
If you want to cry in the next 11 minutes,
yeah,
you can do that.
Feel free, pal.
Like we're not. I love Eddie Howe. I think he's a top manager. Did a great job. I'm upset, and I'm not even a Newcastle fan.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm upset, to be honest. But
you're not upset?
Not really.
Oh, there we go. How about that? I'm not going to cry. Tears of joy then, right?
Cheers, Ed.
Yeah. Thanks for the trophy in Champions League football, mate. See you later. So ungrateful. Mate, do you know what? The youth of today are so ungrateful. Honestly.
Same age as you.
Yeah, we're youngish, aren't we?
So you're saying you're ungrateful as well?
Huh?
You're saying you're ungrateful?
I'm not
as well?
ungrateful.
Right.
You're, won them a trophy and Champions League.
I know. Yeah, no, we'll get into it. Sorry,
as Liverpool fans, we gave you a trophy.
Oh, right, yeah. You're feeling sorry for us.
Yeah.
Just like, I didn't turn up for the final.
Being at Wembley, directly behind the
Yeah, you in the Liverpool end,
and and I just seeing Dan Burn. I can't remember who was marking him, but
it was McAllister.
There we go, mate. I think we had a really weird way of marking their biggest player with our smallest player. And I'm like, I'm no tactical genius, but I'm like, he's going to win a header, and there's a good chance he could score, and then obviously he scored.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
we won 1-0 because nothing else happened.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you've done there. Very good, very good. They forget about the. Yeah, I get that. You do know how the first day of the Premier League season is going to end for you guys, don't you?
I've got a pretty good idea of how it's going to end.
Well, at least you know what's coming. You can
seeing Eddie Howe go.
Yeah.
Because we're playing for the first game of the season, I was quite happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, because a new manager's coming in. It's going to be a bit of a disarray. It's not going to be...
New manager bounce, Jermaine?
Absolutely not. No.
You could look at it the other way, mate.
No.
Bad time for a new manager.
I think it's such an intriguing game, by the way. I know it's like 3 weeks away, but it's the Keegan game as well.
Of course
Keegan
it is,
tribute as well, because we've lost King Kev. And then it's also Isak back at St James's Park. It's Iraiola's first game as Liverpool manager in the Premier League. It's going to be Yasla's first Premier League game for Newcastle. It was already a big game.
And Newcastle and Liverpool, for some reason, just throw on absolutely bangers.
For years and years, that goes back decades, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, is that
closing in?
But even last season, there was the 3-2 where Rio scores in the 107th minute or whatever it is.
Crazy, man.
It was a mad game. There was the game before. The season before it was 3-3 at St James's Park.
Isak scored a worldie that night.
Isak did score an absolute worldie. He really did, yeah. And Salah was unbelievable in that game as well. Look, it's going to be I was already looking forward to that game. That's a huge one.
Back pages, Jack. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, we can start with the World Cup boycott. So, well, Gianni Infantino, I think it could be the end, I think. He's come up and he's decided it's one last greedy push, and it's come hitting him very hard. So basically, he's obviously trying to sell off the World Cup, and the UEFA's response has been 55 nations, that includes England, have said that if that happens, we will boycott all FIFA tournaments. It's not just the World Cup. That's the clubs not entering the Club World Cup. That's youth level tournaments as well. Done. Not happening. Then you've got CONCACAF have come in as well. They're not saying they're going to boycott, but they're totally against these plans. So you've got 91 nations out of 211 that are currently now against Infantino's plans. Now, Infantino, of course, wanted to pay $40 million to each nation who voted for his plans. I mean, you could call that a bribe, I think, to be honest. But essentially, that has been rejected by a lot of them as well. And now talkSPORT understands that there's even people within FIFA who have turned against him. So 3 close allies have turned against him as well. It's looking like the point where he was going to run unopposed in March for another presidential term. That's not going to happen anymore. This is actually a vote of no confidence. And it feels like we might actually be coming towards the end of Infantino's time as FIFA, the leader of FIFA, and it's not a moment too soon. He's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's no other words to describe Gianni Infantino that hasn't already been used over the last kind of couple of weeks. Like, I feel like I don't really have anything else to say about this man. And, you keep seeing different people call him it. He's like we've known this now for a long time, but even more so over the last couple of months in terms of how, he behaved during the World Cup and some of the things we saw before a ball was even kicked. And then this comes in and,
You even go back to 2022, right? When he did that bizarre
that press
speech when he
conference,
said, like, I feel and all this
Qatari and,
stuff. Yeah. And then also before that, he'd sent an email out to all of the nations saying, stop talking about Qatar's human rights, just let's focus on the football. Like,
I think that
outrageous stuff.
Says everything you need to know about the man when he's telling you not to speak about issues of that importance. Right?
That importance. No.
Got back of the sun. Ed wanted away 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we...
Hawaii. He wanted Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
He went Hawaii.
Yeah.
You missed the pun there, Jermaine. Quite important.
I'm not Geordie, I'm like, Hawaii, man. That sounds Scottish. That's why I don't do accents. I just I'm Scot.
I was given 2 bits of advice before I ever spoke on talkSPORT. Don't do accents and don't sing on the radio.
Ed wanted Hawaii.
Ollie Klink's losing on them ones, hasn't he? Because
he doesn't sing.
He's done jingles.
Oh, he has, of course he has. But he is good.
He is good, yeah.
And obviously his impressions are...
They are.
Well, to be fair, his Jim White impression is good.
Yeah, the Jim White ones.
I think because his Jim White impression is so good, all the other ones he does feel a bit flat compared to the Jim White.
No, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, so anyhow, look, we know it's done. It is, but he did tell Newcastle 2 weeks ago that he had decided that it was time for him to move on. So, but he decided to wait until there was a replacement brought in. Now, I think the way we'll look back at how in the near future and the future is nothing but respect and gratefulness for what he did for Newcastle United Football Club. He saved them from certain relegation and he won our first trophy in 7 years, which is a moment that I don't think anyone will ever forget. And as much as I appreciate that it's not the biggest trophy to Newcastle, it means everything because of how long it had been. There'd been generations and generations and generations of Newcastle fans who never seen the team win anything. And the fact that Kevin Keegan and Bobby Robson had been there, they didn't win anything.
Sure.
How did achieve that? And that doesn't diminish his achievements, what's happened today, the fact that he is leaving, it doesn't diminish his achievements at all. We want to say a big thank you to him, really. Equally, it is the right time, it is the right decision. But I do think, actually, the timing's a bit off, because what would have made more sense would have been that West Ham game, last home game of last season, to have had a big send-off, mutual consent. You could have had St James's Park covered in Eddie Howe flags, all the black and white flags waving around to give him the proper send-off he deserves. Now we're going to hope he comes back at some point and gets the send-off he deserves. But ultimately, he did look broken. He did look tired. He did look like of ideas. I assume he's being told Bruno Guimaraes is leaving. He can't win without Bruno Guimaraes. It feels as if this Newcastle project is at the point where they've hit the end of the cycle and it's time to rip it up and start again. Now, if Howard stayed or went, I said no matter what, the squad needs ripping up. When I meant the squad needs ripping up, I didn't mean that all the best players leave, but I meant like
Jacob Murphy.
There's some players who've been there for there's some players who've been there for too long and have not hit the levels that they need to. It's as simple as that. And no matter what happens now, I think Eisler is going to come in. He's going to impose his style on the team. He's got a very good record working with young players, and that's exactly what we've exclusively signed. If you look at Salzburg, got them to the last 16 of the Champions League, which is no mean feat at all, and back-to-backs Asian Champions Leagues with Al Ahly, which again, I don't think is a mean feat at all. We're going to, obviously, it's a risk. No one's not saying it's not a risk. But I do feel it just went stale, and we'll be fully behind the new man, and I wish Howe the best in whatever he does next.
Yeah, well said, well summed up. Do you want to go to some Roberto De Zerbi quotes? I've never heard a manager use the word bomber.
Yeah, he's gone all Gen Z. Yeah, he's using the word bomber.
Where's bomber?
Yes, so
bomber.
Right. So like, you know, when David Ornstein tweets something these days, everyone will go, "That's a bomber," because it's like it's a guaranteed transfer bomb. It's happening.
Oh, okay. So, I was thinking more Caribbean.
Speaking of a man who loves a trip to the Caribbean,
which I can't really say because it's but I thought it was okay.
No, fair. So basically, De Zerbi did use that in his quotes. He said that there's a transfer bomber coming. So he's
I love his honesty, by the way.
Yeah,
De Zerbi turned Jamaican.
He's told Spurs players that there's a new signing on the way. Now, we don't know who it is, but I think we can probably speculate it might be Savinho. Because Savinho is a player who...
Is that a bomber, though?
Well, it's a new winger, innit?
Yeah.
Have you seen their forward line?
So it's the new winger, innit? But it's not,
Have you seen their forward line?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. I mean... I've always found Savinho quite a frustrating player at City, and I know the City fans feel the same. He feels like he wants to get the ball to feet, he wants to be direct, he wants to get his man, but I feel like he just so often runs down a blind alley, gives the ball away. Just don't know if he's maybe consistent enough to be playing at a top club. But then I guess Spurs, based on the last 2 seasons, haven't been a top club, have they? Right?
No, they've still got Solanke up front.
He's good. I think
you like him.
Yeah, I like him.
He probably just needs just needs regular football. To be brutally honest,
regular football is key. It gets you momentum. It gets you confidence. And when you're in and out, it's difficult. It is really difficult because you're just trying to get regular football to get a pattern going. But if you have a good game and the next minute you're out, or if you have a bad game and you're out, it's really, really difficult. Yeah. It's really difficult.
Jack, on the website talksport.com, is there anything else that's fun or different on there that isn't Infantino or transfers?
Yeah,
Come on, give me